All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm home a little bit earlier than normal because we ran through our lines and now we're good. It's time to come back from break and see what the next chapter of One Piece holds for us all. Let's begin! Yo, peoples! Qushu 92 here. I am so happy to be here with you guys right now on the eve of my birthday, no less, because my birthday's tomorrow. Your boy is turning 34. I know I don't look it, but I am grateful to have seen these many years. Lord's will, nothing happen. I'll see 34 years tomorrow. But I'm incredibly happy to be here to read you One Piece. So let's get started. Just to give a little bit of a refresher of what happened in the last one. The last thing that happened in the last chapter was everyone... Well, actually, let me just run through it real quick. So, it started with Loki basically nuking all of the sleep tids, and then Lilith coming in with some, what is it called? Omni-drain converters, using the fire that was engulfing the school and the library to essentially, yo, anime juke! Yo! Anime juke! My goodness gracious. Whoo! Coming in with the happy early birthday super chat. My man! Happy to have you here, but it's already tomorrow here. Happy birthday. Thank you, Ravi. Thank you for everything you've ever done for me. Even you just simply being here is more than enough. I'm just grateful. All love. Thank you. Thank you. My word. Okay. But we have Lilith coming in with the Omni-drain converters, using the fire that's engulfing both the Walrus School and the library to basically freeze it over and save the school from being engulfed in flames and burnt down to the ground in the history of both Elbaf and Ohara going up in smoke. Killing Ham ruins Zeus's chance to try and help out put out the fire, but Sanji, Frankie, and Jinbei all come together to basically not only get rid of the big old sleep tid that... Voice not good? Oh, I know what it is. See, I forgot to check. My face is delayed. So my voice was fine. My face was delayed because I was doing a Neo stream yesterday evening. So whenever I do my voice and it sounds delayed, I do my face the same way, so that way my movements can match up with my words. Sorry about that. Thank you for pointing that out, Ravi. Okay, everything is good now. Everything is good now. But Frankie, Jinbei, and Sanji come in, and not only do they take care of the sleep tid that Killingham was going to use to destroy the school, but also Sanji comes in and smashes Killingham over the head and breaks his big old mask because Killingham was being massively racist towards Jinbei. And while that happens, we cut back to Dory and Broggy, who momentarily regain their sanity, and they decide, well, this is a good way for us to go out. We are warriors, and we die with pride. And they basically chop each other's heads off. But in that process, we see that, yo, Ozzy, a member for 45 months. Greetings, fellow peoples. Let the epicness begin. So Dory and Broggy cut each other's heads off. And then they get Domi Reversi, the Domi reverses. The Domi Reversi reverses, and they go back to being normal. Granted, Broggy's arm is still gone, but at least they wake up. And that's when Stanzen, Dory, Broggy, Harudin, and Zoro come to the conclusion that the only way to cure these giants who have been demonized by Emu is to essentially kill them. And that's where we ended chapter 1176. Preamble over. Time to see what happens in chapter 1177. Furious. Reader request, Robin planting flowers in a bed dug up by moles by Mrs. Fuji. This is precious, and I see Robin doing this. This doesn't surprise me that Robin would do this because these moles carry the same cuteness as Chopper. Western Village, Elbaf. And we're getting the giants tending to each other while Jarl's there, and everyone getting each other away from, because there's still a fire going on, but it's no longer near the school. But the giants are just grabbing children and running away, specifically giants who have their children that weren't taken by, Gunko and everyone else. Look out! Got to hurry! And Colin is trying to run and look at everything.
Whoa! The giant pirates are gonna fight!
It's gonna get hairy, kid. Inside with you. You're not allowed to watch this. And Colin is just eager to watch the warriors of Elbaf. All his life he's known that the warriors of Elbaf simply want to live as peaceful warriors and not just be giant warriors who are prideful to fight. This is a moment where he's going to probably wants to see giants actually fighting in earnest. And he's just brimming with excitedness.
Come back to us, captains. We've got ample strength and regenerating bodies. Enjoy the feeling of liberation, unchained by any concepts of evil.
Dude, you're a giant that has demon wings and horns and pitchforks. There is no good in the way that you are right now.
Just feel this power, Captain Dory!
And one of the giants basically not only destroys the buckler of Dory, but actually stabs his pitchfork into Dory's arm. And then Dory speaks up while his arm has been pierced.
Look at how you submit to a new master. So much for the pride of the giant pirates.
And then both Stanzin, Bragi, and Harudin chime in, are behind him as he continues,
You empty-headed fools should be ashamed of yourselves.
Team Chopper by the lift, Sunworld. And who's saying this? Oh!
Hey, stop this! We were comrades in battle! I can't attack you guys! DDT! Rhodes! You can't attack us!
Because we have some demonized giants that are in one section of the Sunworld by the lift, with Chopper and Gavin.
You can't attack us? Is that your excuse? Come to our side, Kashi. It's incredible to have an undying body. You can't say you can say you can't attack us, but could you do it even if you wanted to? Let's see you try.
I thought they went all away! I thought they all went away!
Be careful, Kashi. If you get surrounded, you'll be turned into a demon too.
Be careful, Kashi! If you get surrounded, you'll be turned into a demon too!
And mind you, Gavin he hasn't said anything.
Please, Kashi! You gotta fight!
I can't. We've been friends for decades. I can't hurt them.
Kashi!
And it sounds like one of them attacks Kashi. And then we get to Bragi.
Hey, Gantonio. We've known each other for ages, but I gotta get something off my chest. Whenever you ask for a bite, you took half. Sorry, Captain.
So Bragi starts by slicing one of his dudes literally in half.
Come near!
And Harudin literally punches another giant in half. He literally punches a giant's body off.
Ikoku sovereignty!
And then Dory just does Ikoku.
Giant trauma!
And Stanzin slams another. They are literally bisecting all of these giants in one way or another. There is mass dismemberment going on. And then Zoro with a brand new move.
3-sword style. Red ogre.
I'm doing this because he has a sword in his mouth.
3-sword style. Red ogre. Mega rage.
And in one move, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is an 8-pointed star-like slash that not only just destroys this giant's body, but it also basically separates his head in many pieces. And Jarl is just watching.
Terrifyingly, terrifically fatal stuff. Don't worry, you guys won't die from this. Terrifically fatal stuff. But do they seem a little too eager?
Then back to Team Chopper.
Run away, Kashi!
I'm sorry, I can't do it.
And it cuts to Gavin. And mind you, Gavin is supposed to be resting. Chopper literally has him in some IVs right now. He's preparing his axe. And then Chopper chomps on a rumble ball. Knock it off, you jerk! And Chopper basically slaps him in the face.
Ga ga ga! That doesn't hurt. It doesn't even.
And there's something on his back. There is something on his back. There is something on his back. It peels off of him. What? Is this an imp? Bro. Is the Domi Reversi not truly transforming giants into demons, but literally attaching imps to them to make them transform? Because something is literally moving off of his back. It's like a shadow. It's like that one moment in the first Insidious movie where that red-faced demon peeks around that woman's face during that whole question scene. It is literally that behind this giant.
Ga ga ga! That doesn't hurt. It doesn't even.
And then all of a sudden, inexplicably, this giant falls backwards and then gets Domi reversied. Chopper didn't even do anything fatal to him. Okay, so we've learned something else now. Because all Chopper did was just hit him in the face. It wasn't even a fatal hit. It was literally just Chopper slapping him in the face. And mind you, this giant doesn't have anything done to him. But he gets reversied back to normal though. Huh? Huh?
He's back. But why?
By the Owl Library.
Black balls!
And then
Black balls!
And then Nami is creating black balls to increase the size of Zeus again because he got chomped in half by Killingham Sleep did. Yum! And then we get Killingham, whose literal disembodied head is being held up by Jinbei. He hasn't fully regenerated yet. His head is just detached.
Curse you fiends! Do you have any idea what kind of hell awaits commoners who dare to defy God? Get your hands off me, you filthy fish! When you're just ahead, all you can do is bark. Blah!
And then Frankie.
If we put him in boxes or something, that should keep his parts separate.
Thanks, you guys.
Supposedly, there's a way to finish him off. So these are the knights who protect the Holy Land. So
they're doing the same thing they did to Buggy. Huh. Bro. Oda literally just told us how we can keep... Oda literally just showed us how we can contain Holy Knights. If you chop off their heads, but keep their bodies separate, they're impaired. We learned this during our first fight with Buggy. What you mean the Buggy tactics works on Holy Knights?
So these are the These are the knights who protect the Holy Land? I think we got too strong, Sanji. Luffy's an emperor now. Yeah, I'd like to believe that, but it's sickening to think that Elbaf was brought to its knees by this scum. That's right, maggots. Keep overlooking us. Be careful, one of them is still unharmed.
And then there's a stomp sound. Yeah, there's a stomp sound. Oh, they probably stepped on his head.
Be careful, one of them is still unarmed.
Zeus! There's fire burning all over Elbaf.
Sure is.
So I want you to keep dropping rain onto it.
Okay, will do.
Dogaga! Doga!
And we have Luffy, Loki, and Ragnar. Ragnar. Sorry, I completely forgot the name of this squirrel. Might as well call it Ratatosker. But we have Luffy, Loki, and Ragnar all flying up towards the rest of the Straw Hats after Loki continues to nuke everything. Oh, hey Nami, Sanji, Frankie, Jinbei!
It's enormous, like a Neptunian. If it's with you, then is that Loki? What, you guys are buds? Darn, that's cool.
Right? He's so huge, it's ridiculous. Are you all idiots?
And Nami's the only one screaming. And everyone is taken aback by this. Even Loki's all like,
There you go, making friends with weirdos again. Yes, it's nice that he's taking out the monsters, but those flames he's spitting is just making the problem worse. Don't you get it? If you help the enemy burn down Elbaf, then what was the point? Get a clue!
Nami would be the one arguing at dragons. Because she did argue at Kaido when Kaido came down after momentarily beating down Luffy and Wano. So I feel like after she was arguing with Kaido, dragons no longer intimidate her anymore. Huh. Interesting. And then Luffy just starts looking sad. He starts looking sad. And then even Ragnar just pats him on the shoulder like, I got yelled at because of you, Loki!
I'm destroying the people who are harming Elbaf. Why should I be scolded by your crewmates?
And Luffy gets blasted. Loki just blasts Luffy with lightning, apparently. But we know what happens when Luffy gets hit by lightning. Oh, it's just lightning.
Why doesn't it work on you?
If it did, I'd whoop your butt right now. And then there's an explosion sound. Oh, Luffy hears an explosion sound. Team Brook, Branch Route 8. And we get, Emu targeted. Hold on. Please, Usopp, you have to run away. I only did this on my own for personal reasons. She's too dangerous. So Brook has been stabbed with a sword, and he's embedded on the ground. And Emu is attacking Usopp.
You expect me to run and leave a friend behind, Brook? A real warrior doesn't run away.
Usopp.
I've been dreaming of this place for years, and I'm not going to humiliate myself here. More importantly, I'm furious.
And then Emu, and still in possession of Gunko's body, because it looks like Gunko summoned a cannon. It looks like Emu summoned a cannon to blast Usopp. It looks like a cannon.
You see, Brook, these guys are disrespecting Elbaf, sneaking around, kidnapping children. You attacked the kingdom with monsters rather than using your own strength, taking over the minds of proud noble warriors and forcing them to kill each other.
And Emu lands and starts running towards Usopp.
Your plan is scummy, cowardly, and cheap. Shame on...
And Emu kicks Usopp. Ah! Usopp! And then Brook gets up again. And then Emu puts up their hand and they got almighty push. I'm sorry, almighty push. Emu has almighty push, just simply puts his hand, well, not his, but simply puts their hand up, and Brook gets hit by an unknown force, making him drop his sword. Almighty push. Just launched him.
Elbaf is a nation of warriors that have lived by their swords, their shields, and their very lives. If you want to rule over them, at least have the pride to fight them head on, you coward!
And then Emu speaks.
One who rules does not sully their hands with such tawdry matters. Skull blast grass!
And before Usopp can move, Emu literally just is right in front of Usopp and then holds up their hand and goes,
Fire.
and then the whole area erupts in an explosion, not just from Emu's fire move or whatever, but from Usopp's skull blast grass. And Usopp's caught up in it, Brook is still laid out, and Gunko starts regenerating from this. Oh. Oh my goodness! The next panel we get is Luffy watching Usopp and Brook get blasted. And we have Loki, who's directly in front of Emu. And we have Luffy, who drops down to Usopp, Brook! And then Loki just staring at Emu.
This is the one. The source of the haki that reached the underworld.
And Emu just looks at Loki. And Luffy is standing, Luffy is standing over Usopp the same way he did when Douglas Bullet basically bodied everybody in Stampede. That's no longer a non-canon event. Someone dusting Usopp and Luffy standing over him. And he's just looking at Usopp. This is like when Luffy saw the Akazaya 9 bodied, and he ignored Big Mom and Kaido and walked over to check up on him. And then Luffy just goes,
Hey, Loki. I'm pissed.
and then Loki goes,
Forgiveness was never an option.
and then Emu ends the chapter with,
Thou canst obey or die. Nika, Needhugger, this battle will divide the world.
the moment has arrived. The Sun God versus the depths of the world. The giant dragon of calamity versus Emu. Ladies, and we're not going on break from this. Loki, Luffy, and Emu have officially met face to face. The two powers that Emu could not possess and take, that's been avoiding them for all this time, they are now face to face with Emu. This chapter ended with Nika and Emu seeing each other again. So here's the thing. With Luffy, when he's in his Gear 5 state, he's basically very comical with it. We have yet to see Luffy just truly angry and rage-filled while in his Gear 5 state. We have yet to see that at all. But now, you heard one of his crew. See, that's the thing. It's one thing to hurt someone close to Luffy that maybe gave him food. Oh yeah, we saw what happened when you hurt someone who's a friend to Luffy. This dude has liberated countries. Plural. Over someone he's close to. But now, one of his crew is hurt because of Emu. I don't think Emu is ready for just how hard Luffy is going to fight. Remember, Basil Hawkins said no matter how many times he tried to predict Luffy dying, his chances of his chances of failing never went to 100%. If there's even a 1% chance for Luffy to survive something, he does. Now, one of the Straw Hats has been injured and harmed by Emu. And Luffy said he's upset. And Loki already has an issue with Emu because Emu is the reason why we lost Harold. So both of these people now have a personal vendetta against Emu. One, because you harmed his crew. The other, because you put his father on a path to essentially die. He had to kill his own father because of Emu. And now, Emu says, thou canst obey or die. Nika, Needhogger, this battle will divide the world. This battle that's about to go down with Emu versus Loki and Luffy is going to divide the world. Ain't no way we're about to have Emu fighting in earnest against Luffy and Loki. What you mean the next chapter is next week? This was a wonderful early birthday gift. To be continued. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Roll it back there. There is so many things that just happened in this. First, we see Stanzen, Harudi, Dory, Bragi, and Zoro being a little bit too eager killing all these giants and reversing the Domi Reversi. Even Yarl was all like, yeah, y'all seem a bit too eager to kill y'all friends. Kashi having a difficult time trying to kill his own comrades because one, Kashi doesn't understand the way to heal these comrades and return them to normal. Something, and here's the thing, when it gets to the point where Chopper slaps one of these giants in the face, something is literally living off of him like a symbiote attached to the giant, and then all of a sudden, the Domi Reversi undoes itself. And Chopper didn't even do any fatal damage to this giant. It was, what was his name? What was his name? Let me go back to Chopper. What was his name? Chopper. I'm missing the page. What's his name? There it is. Can't we've been friends for years? Who's this? DDT and Rhodes. DDT and Rhodes. And if I'm looking at this correctly, Chopper is the one who smacks, it's either DDT or Rhodes. The other one is fine. But one of them, either Rhodes or DDT, the Domi Reversi undoes itself as this little imp-like shadow peels off of him. So there's another caveat. There's another caveat to Emu's power. Apparently, we're discovering more limitations now, because if something as hard as, Chopper's monster point, just bodying, just slapping one of these giants undoes the Domi Reversi itself, then that means that perhaps it's not just, the critical mass of Conqueror's Haki that can undo it. There's more to it now. Because if someone like Chopper can have it undone from them attacking, there's more to it than we know. And another thing is finding out that one way you can severely impair a Holy Knight is literally to decapitate them, but don't allow their bodies to be close and separated. That's pretty much it. Because they got his body in several pieces. Jinbei has his head, Frankie has his legs bound, and then Sanji is sitting on his torso. So if you treat these Holy Knights with the same way that they did away with Buggy, by essentially just separating his body parts and impairing him, it's not like the Immortal Hulk, where they can just snap their fingers and their body just comes back and reconstitutes themselves. If you keep their body parts separate, they can't regenerate. They don't regenerate like that, nor can they regenerate a section of their body just like all over again. They have to be in close proximity, which is essentially akin to that of Buggy's devil fruit, because that's what they did to him, and only had him with his hands, feet, and head attached. So Holy Knights can be drawn and quartered And if you keep their parts apart, they can't regen. That's interesting. Also, Nami's using Zeus to puff him up to a very large size in order for her to use him to reign over all of Elbaf, but Loki keeps setting everything on fire, and Nami, with the braveness she showed towards Kaido back then, starts berating basically Loki for setting everything on fire and reprimanding Luffy as well. And he's all like, I got yelled at because of you, Loki. And Loki tries to blast Luffy with Thorheim, but, Luffy's immune to lightning, so it doesn't work. Then we cut to Usopp, who's getting bodied by Emu, both Brook and Usopp. And Usopp is like, no, I'm not going to run away because you're disrespecting the land that I've been wanting to come to for years, the nation of very proud giants. And Emu is just looking at Usopp and continues to beat up on Usopp. And no matter what Brook tries to do, Emu just tosses him back. Literally, almighty push. And when he tries to blast Emu says one who rules does not sully their hands with such tawdry matters. Like, facing things head on. They use proxies for that. And Usopp prepares to fire on Emu, but then Emu just teleports in front of Usopp, just literally is far away from Usopp, and then is right in his face, like Toji Zenin sort levels, Toji Fushiguro levels of speed. Y'all know during the Shibuya incident. And they both fire on each other, and both Brook and Usopp get blasted. Meanwhile, Emu regenerates from this. Luffy shows up, sees Usopp bodied, says, I'm mad, and both Luffy and Loki are ready to square off against Emu, with Emu saying that this battle will divide the world. I didn't think we were going to have... Now, mind you, I brought up several times, and the chapter's over, I brought up several times the battle between Emu, Loki, and Luffy. I knew it was going to happen at some point, but I thought it was just going to be Luffy who encounters Emu. But no, Loki is here as well. So does that mean the moment of the mural is about to happen, or that's a precursor to the rest of the races joining Luffy and Loki against Emu? Because here's the thing. Killingham was the last of the knights that had to be contended with. Emu is currently in possession of Gunko's body, and as you can clearly see, when Gunko wrested control of her body from Emu, she was more than willing to help out Brook and help him escape. So, I don't know what fate awaits Gunko for her taking part in trying to help someone that they were looking forward to killing. So, but Emu fighting Luffy and Loki? And you mean that could possibly happen in the next chapter? The ruler of the world, whose power seems almost absolute, is about to fight the warrior of liberation and the greatest, most powerful dragon in existence. Oda, I feel like Oda's about to cook here. I feel like Oda is about to cook. I just know it. I know Oda's about to cook with this fight. We're about to see Emu fight Nika, which will probably be, what if Emu starts expositioning, starts exposing stuff like during the time of the first Nika, because who knows how far back Emu goes. But what if Emu starts talking about the Nikas from the past and like, I faced your kind before. I faced you before and I shall again, or something like that. I don't know. But I'm excited. I'm excited. Let me see what you guys have said. Let's see. Already tomorrow. Happy birthday. Thank you. Voice not good. Murphy Napier had a problem with Dory and Broggy living, and I also they switched up what happened with the fight at Little Garden in live action. And I also like they switched up what happened with the fight at Little Garden in live action. I still need to watch and react to the rest of the episodes because I've been playing a lot of catch up lately. So please forgive me if all the episodes are not up on Patreon and not up on YouTube as well. I gotta watch the rest. I got 5, 6, 7, and then 8. So that's where I'm at right now, so I haven't seen the rest of it. Go on, Kashi. Look at you casually blocking an attack from one of them with a shield. He slapped the demon out of him. Yeah, slap the demon out. Chopper, what did you do? Is this going to be another devil fruit that isn't a regular fruit? New name carries the head, same as live action season 1. Glad to see there's different forms of regeneration too. At least this looks different to the way Saturn's and the other Gorosei's regeneration works. Ragnar patting Luffy on the back is killing me. Yeah, on the shoulders. Let's see. Nami, texture size pearls. Usopp is having an Alabasta moment. Yes, now give us more, Oda. Love this for Usopp. I love it too. Him standing up to someone who looks undeniably powerful. This was long overdue, so they finally met, sort of. Either way, in the words of Little Kike, it's going down! That was a strong skull blast grass, and Imu just regenerated while Usopp has taken himself and Brook out. Wish we got a bit more action-wise, but I'm loving this for Usopp, and I'm sure we'll get something action-wise for Usopp. I think by saying fire, he means can you dare to fire now at point-blank range, and Usopp does. But here's my thing, though. When Imu says fire, Imu's hand is up. If it was meant to be like fire on me and watch nothing happens, Imu would have just stood there without the hand. Not like I'm just going to block it with my hand. No, since Imu and Gunko's body can essentially regenerate, there would be no need to put the hand up to say like fire and nothing's going to happen. You would just stand there and take it the way that Gunko did when Usopp fired on her the first time. So I don't think this is like Imu saying fire as in do it and shoot me. I think it's like I think Imu also wanted to blast Usopp as well. But then again, I could be wrong. A mad Luffy is a dangerous Luffy. Imu is about to feel some pain. It's either Chopper's fruit, he's a special property, and he's undergoing some sort of awakening, or there's another caveat. Maybe intent, I don't know. That's the thing. We don't know what's going on here that allowed Chopper, of all people, to basically subdue a demonized giant that has far more strength than him, that can regenerate. The fact that Chopper was able to bring one down and then the Domi Reversi initiates, I have questions as to that little shadow imp that was on that giant's back. So now you know what time it is. It's time for summary. So let me get this up here. Let me know if you guys have been able to hear me properly, even if my voice went down. Wow, they don't have a summary up. That's interesting. Okay, all we have is quick references. Well, so much for reading through the summary. Never mind. But all we have is the chapter notes. At the Western Village, Zoro, Harudin, Stanzen, Dory, and Broggy managed to convert several demonized giant warrior pirates back by dealing fatal damage to them. Also, we got a brand new move from Zoro, 3-sword-styled Red Ogre Mega Rage. That's a brand new move from him. Yeah, it says to be announced on the cover page, the short summary, and the long summary. So we have nothing in terms of long summary for this page yet. I was actually kind of looking forward to it, but oh well. Hey, you gotta take it as they go. Meanwhile, Kashi is chased by the demonized giants and meets Chopper and Gabin. As Kashi is about to be attacked, Chopper transformed into the monster point form to punch one of the demonized giants. Despite the punch seemingly dealing no physical damage, it drives the demon away and reverted the giant back to normal, much to Chopper and Kashi's surprise. At the Owl Library, Killingham, now reduced to his head after a fight, is captured by the Straw Hats. Later, Luffy and Loki reunites with the Straw Hats at the Owl Library, but the duo is scolded by Nami for causing even more fire on Elbaf as a result of their culling of Killingham's MMAs, resulting in a brief scuffle between them. At the Branch 8, Usopp attempted to rescue Brook from Imu. After being beaten up by Imu, Usopp fired Skull Blast Grass at point-blank range towards them. The resulting explosion ended up harming him more than Imu, though this explosion caught the attention of Luffy, who came to the scene along with Loki. Luffy and Loki confronts Imu as the former is enraged by Imu's actions. Referring Luffy and Loki as Nika and Needhogger respectively, Imu remarks that regardless of the outcome of the ensuing battle, the world will be divided in two. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. We're about to have a fight between Emu, Luffy, and Loki. So, seeing as how Luffy and Loki are pretty much some of the strongest people right now, I wonder how far Emu is about to go. That's my question. Let me see. It'll probably be up eventually. Good thing about the One Piece wiki is that it's nothing like the Sakamoto Days wiki. Right. Because they don't be updating that thing at all. But they do update the one for One Piece, though. They do update the One Piece wiki, so I'm grateful for that. Sakamoto Days, they should take some notes because they still got old stuff on there with that hasn't been updated in quite a long time. But here we are. Usopp basically point blank ranges a Skull Blast Grass, pretty much taking out himself and Brook, but Emu's fine. Luffy sees him, Loki sees him, and now they want to square up on Emu. So yeah, Usopp just took himself and Brook out temporarily. I guarantee those two are getting back up, especially since it's just a Skull Blast Grass. Yeah, it's not something that's overly fatal, even though we saw it being capable of destroying the upper torso of a person because Gunko had to regenerate after being shot by Usopp on that boat before Colin was taken. But I'm pretty sure Usopp will survive this, though. What was Usopp doing with Brook? Wasn't he with the others? No disrespect to the move, just that there's more dangerous moves. Oh, no, I get you. Usopp went to go find Brook. That's the thing. He went to go find Brook. And then, confronting Emu, saw that Emu was the one that was the one causing all of this destruction to the nation that he's been looking forward to visiting this entire time. So, Usopp went to find Brook. Willingly. Because Brook says, what are you doing here? You have to run away. I only did this on my own for personal reasons. She's too dangerous. So, Usopp made his way over to where Brook was. That's the situation. But now, we're about to have Emu versus Luffy and Loki. Part of me is worried, though. Worried about what? About someone significant potentially dying? Because that's still a concern of mine. Because it's not out of the realm of possibility for another Domi Reversi to happen. Yeah, it's not out of the realm of possibility. However, I don't see it happening to Loki. Because I know this was brought up the last time we discussed this, but I don't see it happening to Loki. Yeah, I honestly don't see Loki being Domi Reversi'd just for Emu to take control of him. I don't see that happening. However, given the fact that Usopp and Brook are there, I fear for any member of the Straw Hats being Domi Reversi'd in order to keep Nika, Luffy, from fighting in earnest against Emu. Because remember, Emu just said, one who rules does not sully their hands with such tawdry matters. After Usopp said, if you want to rule over them, at least have the pride to fight them head on, you coward. So these words from Emu, one who rules does not sully their hands with such tawdry matters. I'm kind of scared of this line. Because what if Emu keeps this same mentality and chooses not to fight against, Loki and Luffy and use someone else to go up against them? Someone close. Someone who recently just blasted himself and a skeleton away as a distraction. Because for whatever reason, now mind you, I'm off in left field with that one. So there's no guarantee that Emu would try to use Usopp or Brook as a Domi Reversi to distract Luffy and impair Luffy and, turn this into a I can't hit my own crewmate. Translation from Emu, I fight like a coward, yet I have all this power. Emu has all of the power of someone who insults someone online, hiding behind their keyboard, but would never say it to their face. Oh, I have all this power. I'm calling you names. I'm calling you out of your name. I'm making fun of your family. I'm calling you this. I'm calling you that. I'm saying this. I'm saying that. I'm defaming your name. All online behind my keyboard. But I'll never say it in person because I'm pretty sure you would beat the living daylights out of me. Emu has the same mentality as a keyboard warrior who is free and happy to insult others online, but would never do it in real life because they're pretty much sure that the person would either beat them down or because they don't want to have personal confrontation. Reminds me of a certain toxic streamer. Do you realize how little that narrows it down? I can, especially if Loki gets Domi Reversi the same way Rox did, just because strength apparently doesn't matter when it comes to this ability. You say this, but I don't see it happening. And I'm still gonna use the same reason when we brought this up the first time. Just because it happened to Rox, I don't see it happening to Loki because I feel like Loki just too big. I feel like Loki is just too big. I don't see it happening to Loki. Ain't no way we're gonna have Loki freed from Elbaf, freed from the underworld. We see his true power, literally the strongest dragon in existence, even bigger and larger than Kaido, only for him to be taken over by Emu. Because it's like, for what? They already have like an ancient weapon. It's so easy for me to slip up and say he instead of they. But I don't see it happening to Loki, because then it'll be like, okay, Oda, you showed us Loki and all this power, and then Loki's taken over. It'd be like, okay, we showed you Star and Stripe, and then we all know what fate awaited Star and Stripe not too long into MHA. It would be like that. And I don't think people would be take too kindly to, and I'm not saying that the Oda is basing this on whether people will accept it or not. I just can't see a Loki being Domi Reversi'd. Because one thing you got to also take into account here is that Rox literally was, doing his very best to resist Emu. Because when it happened, Rox was resisting Emu. Even while the Domi Reversi'd was referring, not receding. Remember, Rox was resisting Emu, saying like, oh, you think you're going to take me over that easily? Yeah, even Emu acknowledged that his will was strong. So I don't see this happening to Loki because, one, I feel like his size is too big, and two, Loki is steadfast focused on the individual that made him kill his own father, that he loved dearly. I feel like, and also, you also got to realize that will plays a massive role in people not only resisting things done to them, but also them prevailing from these situations at the same time. Because with Luffy, his strength of will was so much that he basically ignored being poisoned. His strength of will was so strong that he was capable of surviving a surgery from Ivankov that would have killed normal people and still prevailed. But doesn't Team Emu look too weak? No. They're strong, yes. But here's the thing, though. They're strong in comparison to normal people. And mind you, you could say that it could look that way, but I don't think so. Even though we've seen that the Roger Pirates, well, from what Gavin says, the Holy Knights all tried to roll up on the Roger Pirates multiple times. Not once did they win. So it's not a matter of like, it's not that the Holy Knights themselves are weak. It's just that the people that they're fighting right now are strong. So no. Does Team Emu look weak as our final opponent? Still no. I still don't feel like this is all we've seen them do. Because they were mainly just here just to kidnap some children. And they pretty much thought that, oh, if we kidnap the children, then the giants will lose the will to fight. That failed. Oh, we're fighting against some pirates. These low... Because here's the thing you got to remember, Ravi. everyone in Marijois looks at everyone that doesn't live in Marijois as weaker, less than, nothing but scum. So they don't take into account that these people could be strong, because all they think of is just they're lowly humans. They're no threat to us. Until these humans start to become a threat to you. You would think they would have learned after the Roger Pirates beat they behinds every single time they rolled up on them. During Roger's time, while Shanks was growing up. You would think they would have learned, but no. They're so high off of their own power that they think that nothing can beat them. Nothing can stop them. Nothing can oppose them. And yet here we have individuals who are exceeding those expectations. And considering the fact that they tried to roll up on a nation full of giants and thought it was going to go smoothly, and now they're interacting and fighting the Straw Hat crew, and now the captain is about to fight Emu themselves? This is what bravado and cockiness gets you. They came in here woefully unprepared for the opposition that faced them. Looks can be deceiving. Remember, a lot of people thought that the Straw Hats were weak. Everyone really thought that Luffy was weak. They thought his power was ridiculous. Sure, Emu knows of the power of Luffy, but everyone underestimates everyone. The Holy Knights underestimate everybody. Every villain underestimates Luffy until Luffy beats their face into the ground. They don't understand until they're laying on their back, staring at the sky, wondering, how did I even wind up here in the first place? So no, I honestly do not see that Emu's group is weak. Because remember, this is just Gunko, Killingham, and Somers. We don't have the rest of the Holy Knights. Because remember, Shamrock is gone. And we have more Holy Knights that we have not seen. It's not just Gunko, it's not just Somers, and it's not just Killingham and Shamrock. There's more. Because remember, Garling is in charge of all of them. It is not like a small group. It is literally an entire section that all of the revolutionaries are wary of. If they continue with their plans, they're like, if the Holy Knights start to move, then we need to move as well. The Holy Knights themselves are something that even the revolutionaries say, like, we need to proceed carefully, because if the Holy Knights get involved, things will get even more complicated. So that's where we're at right now. So no, I don't think the Holy Knights are weak. But I will say, which I'm glad to feel, though, there's a part of me with that paranoia, like, oh no, what if things suddenly turn bad? No, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with being paranoid of things going too well, because this was the same situation with My Hero Academia. When the heroes were doing well, the villains came back with something way more devastating. So until we see this fight unfold versus Emu, Luffy, and Loki, I'm going to say let's wait and see what happens next. Because for all we know, Oda could cut away from what is about to be one of the most destructive fights in One Piece history. The last time we had an overly destructive fight was Marineford, Dressrosa, Wano, and Egghead. That was the last time. That was the last time we had all of these fights ended in massive amounts of collateral damage. But I feel like this one against the ruler of the world versus Loki, who's just living it up with all this power and blasting everything, and Luffy, who's literally cartoon force right now, I feel like this is going to be a very destructive battle. But that's only if Oda doesn't cut away before this fight starts and we go back to someone else, like Robin checking up on Biblio and the school itself. So we'll have to see. Imagine we could have Usopp use Ragnir temporarily. Then that would mean that all those times that Usopp faked lifting an actual heavy hammer, he would be able to use Ragnir and actually use its power, an actual heavy hammer. But then again, remember, Then again, remember, not unless Ragnir is capable of altering its size based on the person, and it's not just because Ragnir itself is a giant squirrel. Because if you look at Ragnir right there, Ragnir is the size of a full person. Ragnir is the size of a full person, just right up there on Loki's head in this panel. Well, I say look, but you guys can't see. But, so who knows? Who knows? But we'll have to see in the next chapter. I've been droning on for way too long. I'm sorry about that, everybody. And we're far from done with epic battles. And let's not forget about the Throne Wars. Imagine we go. I do hope we get stuff out of Ragnir 2. Of course, we want our hero guys to. Let me see. Let's see. But every time Luffy fights some new bag for the first time, most of the time he loses. So I think here we will see the same to showcase Imu's power. See, that's the scary thing, Ravi, and I'm glad you brought this up. We'll continue just a little bit, and then I got Sakamoto days, and then I'll be done for the day. I still got stuff to do today and to prepare for tomorrow, but after that, I'll be resting. But here's the thing. We still have not seen the extent of what Imu can do. And you know what I would love? If this fight explains what Imu's power is. That's what I would love. I would love if this fight explains what Imu's powers are. Let's see, and we're far from done with epic battles. Because here's the thing. This is not going to be the final fight against Imu. Because remember, we have to rally the rest of the races against Imu. So this is going to be the preamble. This is the preamble fight. This is probably going to be Imu seeing where the strength of Loki and Luffy are before they decide, okay, you're a significant threat. Time to mobilize and move so that I can eradicate you from my perfect world. Or it's going to be, you are not a threat, so I'm going to leave and then continue as I have, and I'll eradicate you later. Either one of those two things are going to happen. Imu sees that both Loki and Luffy are strong and are a problem, and works to make sure that they get eradicated sooner, or they see that Luffy and Loki are not exactly where they need to be to pose a significant threat right now, and opts to rid them later, which can then open up the whole rest of the story for more stuff that we need to do, such as find the man with the burn scar, figure out what Blackbeard is still doing, because Blackbeard is still doing stuff in the background. What's going on with the chaos at Marijua? What are the revolutionaries doing? Where's Law? Where's Kid? Are Big Mom and Kaido really dead? What's going on with everybody in the world as everything is getting turned on its head? What's happening with Buggy, Mihawk, and Crocodile? We have so many things that are going on in the world right now that we have not cut to, that we still need to go through. Then we need to think about that final push for Laugh Tale, that final push for the One Piece. Did Killingham's helmet regenerate too because it's right next to Sanji? I'm pretty sure it regenerated, but it didn't regenerate with his head inside. It didn't regenerate with his head inside. Matter of fact, when you think about it, hold on, wait a minute. I just had a thought. You know how Logias, once they gain their power, every part of them is capable of transforming and regenerating back into their element? It is the same thing for Imu and anyone that regenerates under the power of a covenant. So it doesn't matter what happens to them. It's not like, oh, you cut off this person's head with a hat on and then only the head regenerates. No, the clothing does as well. There's some similarities to the regeneration that a Logia has. I'm thinking about this way more now. I really want to know what Imu's power is. Can we finally find out if it is truly a devil fruit power? Because if it is, this thing has to be the most versatile devil fruit I have ever seen. Being able to summon things through grimoires and summoning circles. Being able to change people into giant monsterized demon versions of themselves that's completely subservient to you. Being able to bestow the essentially immortality. Let me say this again. Being able to bestow immortality is the fact why people were trying to get the Op fruit so much. Doflamingo wanted the Op fruit so that he could live forever and never die. Imu has that automatically. and can give that to others. So I want to know Imu's power. I was saying Imu must win so they don't look weak. That is a good point though. Because I feel like, and mind you, that is a good point. I don't see this fight ending with Luffy just trouncing Imu. And mind you, remember, this is Imu possessing someone. This isn't even Imu's actual body. The only person to momentarily clash with Imu face to face was Sabo. Because even then, when Rox was clashing with Imu, Imu was just possessing Saturn. That was it. Imu wasn't actually there. The only person to actually clash with Imu was Sabo. And Sabo tried to blast him, and Imu ate his fire. So here, I don't even think this is a good test to see how strong Imu is against Loki and Luffy, simply because Imu isn't actually there. Imu is using Gunko's body as a proxy. That's it. Just using their power through another medium, not physically being there to throw hands. So that's my thought on this. This isn't like the official big battle that is going to decide the world. Even though Imu says this battle will divide the world, this is Imu literally just using someone else to do their bidding. Not actually being there to showcase the fullest extent of their power in person. Don't even know if the Godosei's powers were devil fruit related or evil devil stuff. Yeah, we don't know. We got told what they were. And the more safe option is to say that these are like ancient Zoan, not even ancient Zoans, these are just like mythical Zoan types, because it's easy to say that even though Oda has never given us the official name of what their powers are, we were just told they're just essentially yokai. Chinese monsters and Japanese monsters. They're just essentially yokai. That's the same with Imu. We don't truly know if this is a devil fruit power. Because I will say this, with Imu's ability, they basically ignore the weakness of the ocean, because you can't just knock them into the ocean because they have wings, they can fly. And they don't even need to flap them to fly. Imu's basically just levitating here using Gunko's body. So who's to say if it's an actual devil fruit or not? And that's the thing that I fear. If it isn't a devil fruit, then that means that Kairoseki won't work, the sea won't work, and there's going to need to be another medium that's going to need to be used, which is why Conqueror's Haki and Haki as a whole is probably going to be the most important component to fighting against Imu and anyone else that has been empowered by Imu. So I hope, and I say this again as I bring this to a close, because how long have I been going for? Has it been an hour already? Hold on, I got to reload my page. Yep, it's been an hour. I say this again. I really cannot wait. I really cannot wait to find out what Imu's powers actually are. During this battle, especially if Brook gets back up, Imu is also going to be having a mental battle against the princess / Gunko. Yeah, and we also have to remember this. The only person's powers to bring Imu to his knees was Joy Boy's Haki, and that was only a small fraction of it. Yeah, the only person to clash against Imu was Sabo, and it wasn't even really a fight, it was just a distractionary tactic. But the only person to bring Imu to their knees is a person that isn't even alive anymore. It was literally just their Haki that brought Imu to their knees. Just their leftover Haki from 800 years ago. That was enough to bring Imu to their knees. So, needless to say, this isn't going to be the fight that decides things, simply because Luffy is not at a level where his Haki is on the level of Joy Boy's, because even Luffy was astounded when Joy Boy's Haki went off. Joy Boy's Haki eclipses Luffy's Haki by light years. That's how big it is. Luffy is not there yet. In order for Luffy to fight against Imu on the same level of Joy Boy, Luffy's Haki's got to get powered up before this final fight. So this is the preliminary. This is the testing phase. You know, the phase where you fight a boss for the first time to test out its moves, and then you die, and then you learn it, and then you go for the kill, and then you beat it? Yeah, we're in the testing phase to figure out the boss's moves, learn the tells and everything, before we prepare for the final battle later on. Looking back, Sabo really got bodied by Emu, huh? I never really thought about it until now. Yes, Emu basically you think about this. Emu injured Sabo. Even though Sabo is a Logia. He literally got skewered by Emu. Even though such an attack would have normally gone through his body. So whatever is going on with Emu's powers, it is capable of ignoring the intangibility of Logias. And Sabo literally was heavily damaged and heavily hurt by that. And ate his fire, I think. Yep, brought that up. Ate his fire, ignored it, and then proceeded to kill King Cobra and severely injure Sabo. Had this dude wheezing, breathing heavily, and sweating while he was hiding away. So I cannot wait to find out what Emu's powers actually are. And then seeing how we deal with it. How far is its reach? How old is it? Because more than likely, this power of Emu has been with Emu from the very beginning, and no one else has ever had this. This could be the only devil fruit in existence that has only had one user. And given the fact that Emu has a name inside of a book of ancient kingdoms and ancient kings and names that existed way back during the first 20, it would not surprise me that not only did Emu have this power, but also had the eternal youth surgery performed on them so that they are essentially immortal, they can't die, and therefore their power cannot go back into circulation, making this the only devil fruit in existence that has never had a second user or gone back into circulation because it's only had one, and that person can literally never die. So, that's just my assumption. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but the day we find out more about Emu's powers is going to be a happy day for me. That's all I can say. Learning the ins and outs of Emu's abilities, whether it's truly a devil fruit or not. If it's not, I would be terrified. Because everything we know of power in the world of One Piece would get upended if it turns out that Emu's power isn't devil fruit based and it is just something else entirely. So I'm kind of scared to learn about such an eventuality. But we'll have to worry about it next week. Hopefully the next chapter will begin the battle between Luffy, Loki, and Emu, and we see how things go from here. We'll get to see just how effective Loki is going to be against Emu, because this will be a good test of Loki's strength against Emu and what Emu can do. But this will also be a good test to see how effective Emu is against Loki and Luffy at the same time. So we'll have to see. But everybody, that's all I got. There's so many things to get from this chapter. I can't believe I went going on an hour and 10 minutes. Going to be close getting there. But that's where we're at right now. Emu is about to face off against Luffy and Loki, and I don't think we're ready for the destruction that's about to happen. Because remember, Nami was already getting on Loki's case about him basically setting fire to more of Elbaf despite taking out the Sleeptids, the MMAs. So we're going to have to see just how crazy things are about to get as the ruler of the world fights the warrior of liberation and the dragon of destruction. All of them got cool titles. Ruler of the world, warrior of liberation, dragon, black dragon of destruction. I can't wait. But we'll have to find out next week. This really was a wonderful chapter to get before my birthday tomorrow. And I'm glad I was able to share this moment with all of you. Anime Juke, thank you for the absolutely massive and awesome super chat earlier on. I thank you for that. I appreciate it. Also, Chopper may have to go around pulling a Will Smith on many unaccounted for Domi Reversi Giants.
Keep my friends' names out of your mouth!
But though he's going to be in Monster Point, so it's probably going to be deeper from that point. That man is never going to live that down. Never. No one's ever going to forget it. No one's ever going to forget it. How can you be so... You know what? No, not the time for this. That's all I got. We got to move on to Sakamoto Days, and then I'm just going to sit back and relax just a little bit. Hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Even check out my membership and Patreon because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. And because I know you're coming back anyway. Have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later peoples, on to Sakamoto Days!